tell the audience who you are and a little bit about yourself. You're probably one of those people that aren't that public in regards to your accomplishments and what you do.
Yep.
So tell everyone a little bit about you.
Cole Askew. One of the managing directors of Base Property Group. Started off 16, left high school, started building apprenticeship. So I was on the tools for a few years then, till got a building apprenticeship, and then went out on my own. Just started doing a bit of labour-only building contracting and that for some group housing companies, and that was about the time all the earthquakes and that happened. So sort of got involved after all the earthquakes and trying to do all the remedies and repairs and that. And then we sort of started up Base Construction, which is a foundation company. So basically do all structural concrete works, foundations, floor slabs, tilt panel work, all that sort of stuff. And then, basically at the same time we're doing that, we've always done sort of spec build and a bit of small developing along the way, which we just started growing that side of things at the same time. So we've branded that up all Freedom Built now. So that's ran for quite a number of years with sort of no brand. It's probably about 7 years ago when my sister Chloe started getting involved that we sort of decided we'd get some branding and that in behind what we're doing. It was sort of the start of Freedom Built. So Base Property Group kind of covers a number of things we sort of do, really, from concrete construction to property development. We also do quite a lot of land development and sections and that sort of thing now as well. And then, a few other ventures in between. So
why did you decide to leave high school and sort of become a builder? Was there anything that comes to mind looking back then?
It's probably one of those things. I was sort of okay at school, but wasn't really super good. So just like working with my hands and doing things. So just opportunity came up back then that sort of wasn't a bad idea to go building, because my dad had started to do a little bit of building and that sort of a couple of years beforehand. So sort of saw what he was up to and followed suit a little bit, I guess.
And the initial getting out of high school going to building, was that with your old man, or was that something else?
No. It was another guy I actually knew just through a sport at the time. Mm-hmm. So started working with they would have been mid-20s at the time. So it was, I was 16, they were mid-20s. So it was a kind of good young crew to have a laugh and learn a lot from. So. And
how long did the apprenticeship take until you qualified?
Mine was a little bit mixed, just because I went overseas travelling and worked overseas for a few months at a time. So for me, it was probably just over 5 years. Mm-hmm. But I think if you put your head down, 3 to 4 years, you can get it done.
And you decided to go out on your own, which is probably not that common if you think about the traditional path of being a builder.
Yeah.
What either gave you the confidence or why did you make that decision?
So I'd actually already previously... It's a bit of a random story, but when I was 18, I'd actually set up a bit of an advertising business. Mm-hmm. So I was doing trailer billboards. So I don't know how I got the idea one day about building a trailer and starting to sell some advertising space. So started that up when I was 18 and ran that for 2 or 3 years.
And was that through cold calls getting clients?
Yes, a little bit of cold calls and then just a little bit of just people, just knocking on doors and talking to different people and a bit of word of mouth and that. So, and sort of the beauty we had with being able to advertise your own advertising on those billboards. So if I didn't have work, I'd just stick a sign up saying that billboard trailer was for rent and someone would ring and want to rent it. So it was a real good start to dip your feet in, actually start to learn setting up a business, managing a business account, working out all that sort of stuff. So it was a good lesson. So
and going through cold calls, we're talking about on the walk down here, we've got a few young guys doing their very first cold calls out to customers, and I think they said they'd rather do all their exams over again than make that first cold call. Do you have any good experiences or any stories from initially trying those cold calls, or any good advice to the youth?
Cold calls would be a lot easier. You don't have to study as much. I think it was just repetition, really, of just, I don't know, the first 2 or 3 ones were quite hard, but sort of after that, people either understand what you're trying to sort of do and are quite keen to catch up, and go from there. I don't know if it was probably a good or a bad thing at the time. I was 18, so some people look at it that you're too young and don't want to deal with you, but then some other people see a bit of ambition in someone who is 18 and do want to give you an opportunity. So yeah, it's two sides to everything. So
and so you're only 18, coming out of school. You started your own business. What advice would you give sort of a high schooler looking to do the same?
Ooh, that's a good question, eh? That's a real good question. Yeah, I guess it's just actually finding something that you're actually passionate about is probably the big thing. And say the advertising wasn't necessarily something I was super passionate about at the start, but it was more just because you're 18, you've got no responsibilities, got no mortgage, got no kids that are dependent. So I just looked at it as a good opportunity to just have a go at something and learn. And if it didn't work out, it kind of wasn't the end of the world because you still got your whole life ahead of you. So yeah, probably best advice I can have is like, if you're in high school, now's the time to just give anything a go till you actually find what you're doing. Because
so take risks.
Yeah, take risks for sure.
Yeah,
it's the best time in life to do it.
And what happened to that billboard company?
Actually ended up selling it to one of the main clients. So one of the clients actually used it quite a bit. Ended up buying it because he bought it for his son to sort of sort of first foot in the door.
And how old were you then?
I was probably 22 then, so probably that for 3 or 4
years. 4 years and then your first exit.
Yep.
That will go straight up on LinkedIn if you used it. And then you met someone that's sort of through sport, and probably people don't really know this about you, but looking from the outside in, you're quite a competitive person. If you think about, you do a lot of racing.
Yeah.
From jet skis to cars to motorbikes.
Yeah. So I was actually through jet ski racing who met the guy who I first started doing my building apprenticeship with. And so it's just been real interesting. The people you meet along the way, it doesn't matter what sort of sport or that it is, you always seem to bump into someone, and a contact's a contact, so having a good name out there sort of.
And how did you get into jet ski racing? Because that's quite a niche
Yeah, sport. It is. Yeah, definitely. My dad actually did it when I was quite young. So I think when I was first born, a couple of weeks old, my mum must have had me out there while he was out there doing that. So just that through some family friends that got back into it when we were sort of teenagers. So just followed suit. And
follow mum and dad around to different sort of races, and then
a little bit.
Was motorsport as well a big part at the same time?
Dad's always been into it for sure, but it's probably one of those things. When I was younger, my parents were pretty hard working, so they were running different businesses and working pretty hard. So there wasn't a massive amount of time that they were actually out doing a lot of sport or that when we were growing up. But they're definitely making up for it now.
Oh, awesome. And then going through your different sort of transitions from billboards to going overseas, then starting sort of a building company with family.
Yeah.
What's it been like starting a business with family compared to potentially starting a business with other people?
So when we started base construction, my dad started that when I was probably 21 actually. To be honest, actually really, really good. And the biggest reason I put that down to is my dad and I just have quite a good mutual respect for each other, which is probably hats off to him quite a lot. Respecting a 21-year-old, obviously got different opinions, look at life a bit differently to obviously someone who's a bit older. But no, we worked really well because we had two different sides of the business. He ran the earthwork side of things and I ran the concrete side of things because obviously, I'd gone down the building side and got qualified in that. So we actually worked together pretty well. And to this day, we still haven't had an argument as such. So we've just had one rule. You can always tell whether one person is more, whether they've got quite a strong opinion on something, and as if you're not as strong as what they are on something, then we normally say, hey, sweet, if you've got a stronger opinion on it, we'll run with what you're thinking. So it's as I say, it's actually worked out surprisingly well. So.
Yeah, it's quite a special time, right?
Yeah.
Because the time, I was talking to someone recently because we've both got young kids, and they're saying you've only got sort of 18 summers left with your kids before they go away and leave the nest. But it's quite nice that you and Grant can work together and see each other almost every day.
Yeah, definitely.
To have that time and to learn from each other is really important. And then how did sort of Chloe come into the picture?
So Chloe was actually... Chloe was off doing vet nursing at the time.
Cool.
And she, I think it kind of worked out at the time once she was fully qualified of what she would get paid, because she actually had a Class 2 truck driver's license. We needed a Class 2 truck driver. So I think at the time I'd said to her, I'll pay her $4 an hour more than what she would be as a fully qualified vet nurse just to come and drive a truck. So yeah, she kind of jumped at that and jumped in, started on a truck driving that, and then we needed a bit of help in the office, so she jumped in and started helping out the office ladies, and then started taking over and running the accounts and running the books and running project management, and just kind of tried everything and understood it all. So she worked her way up pretty well. So that's obviously why when we actually started the Freedom brand, we were like, right, she's definitely starting to be a big part of it. So.
And when did you start that?
That would have been 2017.
Mm-hmm. And so starting that, it's quite nice being around people that you can trust sort of implicitly.
Oh, 100%.
How many staff is Freedom now?
So Freedom now, just on the house construction side, we run about 14 full-time employees. Mm-hmm. So that's just in the office. So then we've got, obviously, all the builders and everything else that are all contractors and that are all out on site.
And talk us through COVID time. So 2017 you started Freedom.
Yep.
We go into a little bit of craziness. Everyone sort of stopped working.
Yeah.
How big was Freedom at that time? And then what was your guys' initial reaction to that sort of event?
So Freedom itself was actually only really just getting started, but we had a number of sort of other development entities that had already been going for a number of years then. It was definitely an interesting one. It was a lot of downtime, obviously sitting and waiting for what was going to happen. But I think just we were quite lucky in the position we were, because we'd had some projects that were sort of committed to that weren't already fully underway. So we weren't too highly leveraged at the time. So we could afford to sort of wait it out a bit. And then obviously once everything got opening and going again, we sort of really put our head down and got in behind it and started taking some more risks and started building really.
Yeah, and you've gone through a few boom and bust cycles based on your sort of tenure. Why have you been successful when others haven't?
I think a lot of it comes down to we've got a good balance of young sort of ambition and trying to grow and drive, but then we've also got the other side, which is, say, my dad's still a big part of it, and we've got another business partner as well who's been heavily involved in real estate for a long, long time that have been there and done it. So we've got quite a good balance of some of the older, wiser heads and then some of the young, ambitious ones as well. So it's been a real good mix of some times where we'll look at a project and we'll have some good, decent discussions on it and we'll decide not to go ahead with it because there might be some factors that are happening out in the economy that might not be such a good idea, or vice versa. We look at it and go, actually, things are looking pretty good now. It's a good time to take a risk and to make some stuff happen. So we're not trying to grow fast and be the biggest, but we're just trying to take good, solid steps each year.
So the earned grey hair is pretty helpful in regards to lessons learned, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Yeah.
And so if you found someone I think we talked about someone walking on the way down here, if you were talking to that person who wanted to start his own business and do something similar to what Freedom's doing, what advice or how would you tell them to structure it?
To structure it, or like as in how to
think through who to have around sort of the dinner table to give advice?
Best one is obviously having people that have done what you want to do. Has always been a big one, is asking advice and listening to people that have been around, because as you said, there's boom and bust, there's property cycles, with every industry goes up and down, so it's invaluable, some of those people, if you can have some good advice who have seen it, and then a lot of people who have walked those paths before are definitely more than happy to help and give advice to younger people coming up. So I'd definitely say get a good network of people around you that you can. Like I've still got people that I ring today that I might be 50-50 on something and they can give me some advice within 5 or 10 seconds if it's a good idea or not. So, just bouncing that ideas off people is always
I think it's the non-obvious part, right, is that any business has so many people helping downstream and that people think they need to go at it alone, and that if you're the entrepreneur or the business person, it's all on your shoulders when you can actually outsource it and get different opinions. So sometimes when you look at plans for too long, you can't see all the details you're missing.
Nah, and that's probably been one of our biggest strengths is, it's never one person doing it. Like, as I say, it is a group of people that's coming together to bounce those different ideas because, there's definitely always blind spots and stuff you haven't thought about that, as I say, when you might just have a conversation about something and there's something that's right in front of you that you haven't even seen. So
yeah, and that was one thing for me entering into your world was quite surprising how you might be competitors on the outside, but everyone was very collaborative. Like you call up some large companies and go, hey mate, I need advice here.
Yeah.
And everyone gave you good quality advice. They weren't trying to put you down or steer in the wrong direction. So yeah, it's definitely something I think is quite unique into your world.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you guys have quite a lot of dinners together or lunches where you can all collaborate and just bounce ideas.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually really awesome.
Yeah. No, it is. It works bloody well, eh?
Yeah. And then sort of we got together probably about 18 months ago, 2 years ago now.
Yeah, probably would be 2 years, eh?
And then we've started something together. Probably talk a little bit about why on earth you've decided to jump into this world when you've got so many other things that are working so well.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing I had a bit of a sports injury which laid me up on the couch for 6 months. So just started to do a bit of more research and looking into technology and construction and AI and where all that was kind of going and where it was heading in that. And as you said, we'd already known each other and we're working through some bits and pieces. So I guess, it was more putting two and two together. The building industry is quite segregated in all the processes and systems that there are out there. So a lot of, whether it's a sales or construction or QSing, a lot of the programs, they're all different because they all specialise in one thing, but they don't actually talk to each other that well. So we just found in our business especially that getting live information, we were having to double handle it a lot and process it through the health and safety system and then process it through the construction management system and then to get it into the sales system, like it was very tedious. And then because they didn't talk together that well, then different departments didn't know exactly what was happening in the other department as easily. So it was kind of one of those light bulb moments is why don't we just build one system that can actually do across the whole board? So a business can actually run itself from start to finish through one program.
And the idea is, how do we decrease those meetings or decrease that transmission of information so that everyone knows what to do and they can do the stuff they actually want to, as opposed to copy and pasting data from one system to another?
100%. And that's what we found too. There's a lot of inefficiency with all that because you've got people that are just moving saved information from one program to another because someone else can't get it or they can't access it, or same with external consultants if you've got designers and that sort of thing all working on different projects to just the information they need. So it's almost near a full-time job just administrating all that sort of stuff just to even get to the start line of starting a project. So it was just trying to streamline it all really. And we're not... It's the other thing we looked at too. We don't want to grow massively in terms of staff and having more people and really trying to fill up the office. So we're just really trying to focus on being more efficient with the staff that we do have to be able to work a lot more effectively.
And also recruitment in this space is getting harder and harder each year when everyone seems to go to Australia as well.
That's definitely another one. Yeah. So recruiting good people is definitely hard. And that's the thing we do really try value the team that we've got, and we're quite big on sort of culture fit and having a real good team that is part of it. Having more and more people kind of dilutes that a little bit. So we're, just want to make sure we've got the right people that are the right fit. So obviously,
on the bus, all going the same way.
Exactly.
And just making sure that they can also have time to think and not be, working extra hours just doing admin.
Exactly. So that's that secondary part of it too, is if they can be more efficient in what they're doing, then it's freeing them up more to actually be thinking and going, right, okay, can we be improving this? Can we be making this better? So actually overall the product that we're doing is getting done more efficiently and better at the end of the day too. So as well as the client experience is a lot better too.
And we've decided to spin out one of the features of Build Foundry, TakeoffQS.
Yep.
And so just give a little context for the audience. It's a computer vision tool that reads building plans. And for a material supplier, usually takes about 4 weeks to return sort of a price or an estimate.
Yep.
And we can do it currently in less than 10 minutes. What does that mean sort of for your QSs, or what does that mean for your team and your group? How do you use this tool?
So for us it means that a QS can pick up a job and can follow that job through. a lot faster. So the problem we find is, say, a QS will pick up a job, he might send it out for quoting, and then he's got to wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks for all the pricing and everything to come back. So he's constantly picking up and putting down that job, picking it up, and each time, depending on the complexity of the job, he's got to get his head back into that job to make sure he's got everything covered. So ideas with this tool is to help make all that side a lot more efficient, so that when they're actually sitting down with their head in it, that they're a lot more productive with it, so they're not having to go in and out as much. And then on the flip side of that is we can actually have a job priced up a lot faster. So whether it's a development that we're doing, we can make a decision that yes, it's a goer, or no, it's not. Or if it's a house build for a client, they're getting a price back a lot faster as well. So they're not sitting around for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks waiting on pricing to come back in. We can have that turned around a lot faster, so that they can make decisions at their end too of whether they want to go ahead with something or not.
Because something that people won't understand is like the request for a proposal, and how sort of everyone, let's say in Christchurch or New Zealand, will quote a job, but the actual conversion rate's quite low. Like we were talking to one builder in town, and they said for a local government project, for a light commercial, there's 26 people bidding on it. So you got like less than or about a 4% chance of winning that job, which must be a huge, huge cost. So how can this tool help for the request for proposal part?
Yeah, so as you say, the amount of time and labour that goes into just putting in a proposal for a tender. So the idea is this can actually help a lot with that, to make companies a lot more efficient, so to help decrease their overheads, so that when they are putting together proposals, they are a lot more accurate, but also they're a lot more faster and more efficient. So therefore their cost to actually submit a tender is a lot less. So if they are only winning 5, 10, 15%, they can actually go in at a lower margin, because they haven't got the 20 or 30 jobs that they've missed out before that they've actually spent so much money tendering for. So,
And do you think that, say, TakeoffQS, but also Build Foundry, ultimately is going to decrease the cost to build, which will sort of give more profit back into the hands of building companies, which means they actually be a lot more sustainable?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, well, it's definitely going to make stuff a lot cheaper, because you look at it, a builder might go out and send his plans out to 2, 3, 4 building merchants, so they're all pricing the same plans. So the amount of time that the industry has taken up on everybody pricing these sets of plans is such, it's at the end of the day, it's a cost that gets passed on to the end user. So if we can be helping that whole process be a lot more efficient, then effectively, yes, we'll be able to bring housing pricing down and make it cheaper to build, which means it's cheaper for the end user as well.
Yeah, and from what I've gathered so far, we've gathered with the larger building merchants which we're working with, I think it's 120,000 plans get priced per year. If you think about 30,000 times 4 or 5, and I think the last count we had was 17 or 18 different subcontractors will touch these plans on a single job before it even sort of breaks ground.
It's quite mind-blowing when you actually start to work out the roadmap that one single plan does, and how many people actually touch those plans, and how many different companies it goes through, and how many sets of hands and different QSs and that actually will work out separate parts of it. So it's the whole idea is to make that whole process a lot more efficient.
And this technology, I think there's only 2 companies in the entire world, so us and another company in the States have done this. Why? Why do you not think that people are investing a lot of technology into construction?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's your department, brother. I think big thing is kind of, well, I guess from my side of things, it was kind of where to start. So the only real reason that we're obviously going down this path so much is the relationship we had with Agentic Intelligence for a start, to actually sit down with you and go, right, here are the problems, here are what we're wanting to solve, and actually going, right, where do we start? What's the best sort of way forward? And that's been some brainstorming between you and I of going, well, what are we actually best to do here, and where are the biggest pinch points that we want to start trying to solve? So, I guess it's having the right knowledge and the people with the right skills that, I say, probably for myself anyway, in the construction industry, I don't personally know a whole lot of software developers and guys that are really skilled up on computers, where obviously the conversations with you is that's kind of your specialty and where you come in. So that's sort of where where the ideas started to come from, a bit more of using your guys' skill set to start to build it really.
And let's say we use our time machine, we jump in a year from now back in this room.
Yeah.
What would success look like?
Definitely a moving beast at the moment for what we're looking at, because it's been one of those journeys of, it's a bit like Pandora's box. Each sort of step we go down and look into, there's more and more areas that we're finding, hey, we need to be looking at that as well and improving that side of things. So success in a year's time, I'd say, to have some major clients throughout New Zealand and also be into the Australian market, and whether we're looking at heading over to the US or not.
Mm-hmm.